Let's create a house using Blender of what we've learned so far. So we have the basic cube, and let's use this to create the house. I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to click tab, and I'm going to do a loop cut. So I'm going to do Control R, hover over here. I'm going to click once and then click again. So once, then again, and there we go. So what I want to do next is I want to select the middle part here. So there's multiple different ways to do that. Easiest way is to click 2 on your keyboard, then click the edge, the middle edge here. Then you're going to do GZ, and you're going to have it go up. So just like that, we created a roof. But every house needs a chimney. So let's create a chimney. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do Control R, hover over here, and let's do 2. So just type 2, and we have 2 of these now. I'm going to click once, then click again. Go over here, do Control R, type 2, click once, then click again. So now we have this little plus symbol right here. So I'm going to click 3 on my keyboard, click this face right here. I'm going to click E, then click again. Now I'm going to do G, Z, and I'm going to move it upwards. So that looks pretty cool, right? So we have a chimney, but a chimney is usually flat on the top. So how do we fix that? Well, we're going to do SZ, scale it inwards. And this is a cool trick, and that's how you can actually flatten stuff out. So already it's starting to look like a house, but every house needs windows. So there's multiple different ways we can do that, and we can like cut stuff out. But let's use the Boolean modifier. So let's exit out of this. I'm going to do Shift A. Let's do a cube. Let's do G, GX. Looks good. Let's do X here. So we're in the side view, G. And let's go into wireframe, Z. Wireframe, G, S, G, Shift D. X delete, sorry. Click here, tab. Now we're in edit mode, so we can select different stuff. A, Shift D, GX, G. There you go. GZ. Looks good. Select both of these. Control L, Shift D, GY. That looks pretty decent for like as a little window. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this into like a stamp. So it's going to stamp into this. So we're going to click on our house. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Add Modifier. And before that, we want to click on Solidify. So that way it actually makes the house hollow. So click on Solidify. That's fine. Click Add Modifier. And we want a Boolean right here. And we want to select the object that is making the indent. In this case, it's cube.001. If that gets confusing, you can just click on this cube and you can change it to stamp if you want. Okay, go back here. So we have the Boolean. We're going to select stamp. And now let's just do H. And we can see that it actually made the indent. So instead of us having to actually model that, what's cool is it did that for us. So let's unhide this. And what we're going to do here is we're going to first apply the solidify here. Apply. Then we're going to apply the Boolean. With that applied, we're going to move this GY to our next location. Let's say right here. Go back here, add modifier, Boolean, stamp, apply. Select this again, GY. And now we have windows for our house. So it's looking pretty cool. So let's really show off the windows by having a light inside of it. So we're going to do Shift A. We're going to add a light point. That looks pretty good. Now let's go into render. that looks good. And let's see. Let's increase this to, let's say, 20. And let's have the world go pitch black. And there we go. So now we can actually see that there's stuff inside of it. Now, if you notice that the lighting looks kind of funky, the reason being is because we're in Eevee. Again, it's like hack-based lighting. So what you could do is you could do the indirect lighting and bake it. So real quick, Shift A. Let's do light probe, the volume. Yep, so that's inside of it. Let's just do S, go a little bit smaller, and go to render. Where is it? Indirect lighting, bake indirect lighting. And now, if you notice, inside of it actually looks slightly better. Now, let's just delete that. So let's do delete lighting cache, X delete. Let's just delete this light inside. So now it's like pitch black inside. So this works too. Or what we could do is go into this, click tab, click 1, and let's go to materials. So we have a default material. Let's click plus. Let's add a new one. We're going to do emission. We're going to call this light. Give this, let's say, 5. And let's make these squares light up. So I'm going to select these. And a cool trick to do this is if you hold down the Alt button and then click on an edge right here, you'll do a loop select. So you can see it selected everything. So I'm going to click F, and then I'm going to assign the light to it. So let's do Alt here, F, assign, Alt, F, assign, Alt, F, assign. Go to the next one over here, Alt. And sometimes the Alt doesn't work, so you have to manually select it, which is fine. It just takes a bit more time. F, assign, Alt, yep. This, F, assign, F, assign, F, assign. That looks pretty decent. Now, especially if we add a bloom to this, let's go to render properties, click bloom. That looks pretty cool. Now, let's say we want to make a cul-de-sac, right? Click on this, go here, add modifier array. Let's do the offset of, let's say, 2. Looks pretty good. And let's create another array. But instead of in the X direction, let's make it in the Y direction. Let's have it as 10 and have this guy as 10. So already that is looking pretty cool. So we have this little light right here. GX, can I move this around? And we have like a bunch of houses.